So something more abstract I wanted to talk about is how Bitcoin can actually change your brain, which sounds a little bit far-fetched, but just hear me out. I wanted to talk about how the experience of holding Bitcoin, the wild price swings, the constant barrage of news related to it, and the community's intense, almost cult-like sort of culture can genuinely rewire the way you think. So the first concept I wanted to talk about is the dopamine trap. If you've ever been on a Bitcoin bull run, you know the high. Your portfolio might be up 30% and everyone on X is freaking out about everything, and you probably think that you're the next Warren Buffett of Bitcoin. And so that rush you feel isn't just in your head. Well, it actually is, but you know what I mean. It's your brain releasing dopamine, the feel-good chemical. And there's a slight problem with that, and it's that your brain can start to crave that hit, and you end up checking prices compulsively, refreshing the charts, and riding an emotional roller coaster that can definitely burn you out. So over time, this can lead to something called variable reward reinforcement, the same psychological mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Your brain starts to crave the uncertainty, the thrill of potentially hitting it big. And this isn't just a bad habit, it's a literal rewiring of your brain pathways. And so the only solution for something like this is to just take a step back, take a break, and remind yourself that investing is supposed to be a marathon, not a sprint. And so the next concept I want to talk about is risk tolerance. If you've been in Bitcoin long enough, you probably have a much higher tolerance for financial risk than the average person. You've probably had to watch your portfolio drop 40% in a week and try not to lose your mind about it. And so because that kind of emotional fortitude isn't necessarily normal, it sort of changes how your brain processes risk. Studies have actually shown that people who engage in high risk, high reward behaviors like day trading or just investing in volatile assets in general start to show different brain activity patterns compared to more conservative investors. Of course, this can be both good and bad. On one hand, you might be more comfortable making bold financial moves, but on the other hand, you might underestimate risk and overestimate your ability to time the market, which you can't do, for the record. The trick is to stay aware of this shift and not let it push you so much into reckless decisions. The third concept I want to touch on is the echo chamber effect. So Bitcoin has one of the most passionate and insular communities out there. And if you're active on crypto X or Twitter or hang out in Bitcoin subreddits, you're constantly being reinforced with the same narratives. HODL, fiat is trash, Bitcoin fixes this, and all that sort of stuff. And over time, this can lead to a form of cognitive narrowing. So you become less open to other perspectives and more likely to dismiss legitimate concerns about your investment. So this can seriously limit your ability to think critically and make balanced financial decisions. And so one solution is to try and expose yourself to different viewpoints. Read some books, follow people who challenge your assumptions. I talked about this in my last video. Check out Mike Green, and also try to keep an open mind about everything. And finally, the fourth concept, identity. For some people, Bitcoin isn't just some investment, it's actually more of a lifestyle, philosophy, and even sometimes a kind of digital cult religion sort of thing. And so you start to see yourself as part of this global movement, this sort of digital revolution that can be incredibly powerful, but also pretty dangerous. When your identity is tied up in an asset, it becomes much harder to make rational decisions about it. Whenever you sell, it feels like you're betraying Bitcoin. And so doubting Bitcoin ends up feeling like self-doubt. This kind of identity investment can lead to tribal thinking, where you reject anything that contradicts your worldview, even if it's rational or fact-based. And the way to counter something like this is to remind yourself that Bitcoin is just a tool, not a religion, and that it's okay to change your mind or diversify your investments without feeling like a traitor to the cause. So those are some of the ways that Bitcoin can actually change your brain. It can mess with your dopamine levels, shift your risk tolerance, lock you into echo chambers, and even redefine your sense of self. Understanding these effects can help you stay grounded and make smarter, less emotionally driven financial decisions. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, as this really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.